Hello, everyone. Welcome to this webinar on tips for constructing comic pages in Clip Studio Paint. I'm your host tonight, Joanna, and I will be introducing Pietro, who will be the presenter of the webinar, and we will be looking at tips for constructing comic pages with Clip Studio Paint. First of all, there are a few housekeeping items. The webinar will be approximately an hour long. All attendees will be muted. The Q&A session will be at the end of the webinar and will be about 15 minutes. Due to time constraints, we won't be able to answer all the questions, but we will try to do as many as we can. So please write down your questions in the question box that you can see in your UI for the GoToWebinar interface. The webinar will be recorded and it will be released on social media, so no worries. Also, so I'm Joanna from Celsius. We got support from Fahim from Graphicsly, who has been a great help with all the other webinars as well, and of course our presenter, Pietro. And he will go into a lot of detail on what you can do with Clip Studio Paint, but if you want to know more about it, you can go to clipstudiopaint.net/en or graphicsly.com. Pietro will introduce himself in just a moment, but of course you can find more about him on his homepage, on his Instagram and Facebook. And with that, let's take it away and make it a great webinar. Pietro, I'm giving the presentation to you
Very good.
in just a second.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you, Joanna, for introducing me. And okay, I think I can show my screen at this point. I hope it's not going to be too much of a mess on my desktop. But yeah, hi everybody. It's gonna be kind of weird to talk without hearing 400 people right now connected. But thank you to be here. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm very excited to be here to explain how to make a comic book page out of Clip Studio Paint. It's a software that I really love, and I stumbled upon it like actually years ago. A lot of people were talking about it, and I was never really trying it out till last year, and I fell completely in love with it. And just a quick presentation about who I am, what I did. I'm from Italy, if you can't tell from my accent, maybe. I've been working with Disney, mainly as a writer and an artist. I did a series of 5 books published in Italy called Magnifico, about university and stuff. I think you can find basically everything about it on Facebook on my page. So you already have all the links. And lately I've been working on a new project, on a bunch of new projects, especially this fantasy one that it's exciting me a lot. And I'm working on an animated series that I really hope that you're going to be able to see, I don't know, in 1 year or maybe a little more, but I have very high expectation for that. So we'll see. So yeah, today I was saying we will see how to make a comic book page on Clip Studio Paint. At the end, we'll have a quick session of question and answers. And yeah, let's just dive in and get to it. So 2 things that I actually want to see with you. Let me see if I can take away this stuff from here. Okay. Okay, I think you should be able to see everything that I do. All right. So one quick thing when we open Clip Studio Paint that I really love is that when you open a new page, let's just do it. So from File, New, and we have the possibility, of course, to put our own the size that we want, the resolution we want, exactly like any other software. But the good thing, and it's gonna be a lot of really little tips and tricks and a lot of little things, but they add up. at the end, all those little cool things, they're gonna show you how beautiful of a software it is. So one first little thing is that it opens and it already gives us 2 layers here. It gives us a paper layer that we won't make the mistake, as it happens in other softwares, to do to work on it, but we will work on the layer 1 to be very clear. Now let's call it pencils, because that's actually, let's call it sketch. This is where we're gonna sketch our page. I want to show you 2 things. So basically, let me take a pencil that is easy to see. Okay, I want to show you how to import your page. Let's say that you may be working with just a normal tools like the real pencil and inks and paper, and you're importing your thing here to be colored, to be finalized, to add halftones and kinetic lines and whatever. And so I wanna see how to prepare the page for that, and then we will see how to do everything in here from scratch. And this is what actually excites me. So very, very fast, we're gonna see import and what's gonna happen. So let me take away all this stuff. I prepared a page, and it should be here. Here it is. So as you see, as it happens, maybe you saw it happening. You have an inked page, and then on the bottom you have a lot of blue lines, because a lot of drawers, an artist, you know, they like to use a blue pencil to do the art line, and then the ink will go on the top. With the computer, we're able to take it away. So how we do that? Super easy. We go to tonal correction, tone curve. So since we're trying to take away the blue, we have to work in everything else. So basically, we will go to the red, and we'll go all the way up here with the red, and you will see. Don't be afraid with the color turning red. We'll go to green, and we will do the same all the way up. You will see it becoming yellow. Okay, so right now everything that we actually have on the page is the red and green mixing together, creating the yellow, and the blue is very, very, very light. So now what we have to do is going again on Edit, Tonal Correction, Hue, Saturation, Luminosity, and bring down the saturation all the way down. Here it is. At this point, we go again on Edit, Tonal Correction, and Level Correction to bring up the black value. As you see, the blue completely disappeared. At that point, we can work on it like we would usually do. So in this way, your page is ready. But let's see what happens when we have to create the page from scratch. So let's close this down. And yeah, let's go here. So what I suggest when I create a new page, so we're gonna see how I did something like this. You should still be able to see my screen. I really hope there's nothing wrong there. So I wanna show you how I did this page. So very easily, we're gonna go through all the steps. We're gonna see how to work with layers, with pencils, all the parameters that we can use, how to do the whole frame around, so how to divide in panels, and that's a very cool tool that we're gonna use. How to use the rulers, that's gonna help us at the end when I will show you how to solve the perspective problem. Every artist in the world probably has the same problem, like perspective. So you know where to put the vanishing points, how to do the straight lines, how to make it look that the perspective is actually working. This thing is gonna be solved in the next hour. So yeah, be excited for that. And we're gonna see how to ink the page. and how to put all the halftones and kinetic lines and balloons. It's a lot of stuff. I should be able to stay in the hour. I really hope I really hope it's gonna be like that. So okay, let's start. What I really like to do is to is to take usually I really like to use a blue pencil, like as cyan here. There you go. Like all the way on 100%, it's only blue. And if you go on the pencil tool, you will find it here on the left, midway, here it is. You have a bunch of different pencils. I really like to use the rough pencil. You don't have to use that, but you have the darker pencil, lighter pencil, mechanical pencil. I mean, they all do something kind of different. This is on your preference. I really like to use the rough one. It's kind of light, and I really like the fact that I can, of course, change the texture that it has. And so, of course, here on the left side here, if you can see my my arrow here, you can see that I have the brush size. I usually like to put like a 0.2. Brush density is just the opacity of the pencil. The texture is the cool thing, because you can change the texture that your pencil has. So here it is. I usually like to go with a canvas or with where is it? Somewhere here. Medium texture. It really looks like a normal pencil. Okay. And the very cool tool is the stabilization, but we're gonna see it better, something better about this when we are gonna talk about the pens and the inking. Yeah, you'll see. That's very, very cool. So I have my pencil, I have my page. Again, let's call this sketch. And something that I always suggest to do is, before creating the page with the frame tool and everything that we're going to see in a moment, let's decide what we're going to do. Okay. So just draw your page. Maybe it's better if I use a black pencil right here so you can see it better. Okay, right now I'm just drawing lines holding shift. That allows me to do straight lines. Okay, I just want to decide how my page is going to look like. So if I have a script, probably I will go by that. It's going to be something like this. Okay, and what I do right after is take again, my pencil and say, okay, here I will put the monster jumping like this. The character will jump away in this fashion. I'm going to put a couple dialog boxes here. The character is going to run away from here. I'm going to put a bunch of kinetic lines right here with the monster jumping, and then the main character here, using the power that they have in the story. Okay, like this. The character turns around. So I sketch completely what I'm doing. Okay, so you've already seen where I'm going now. At that point, I know how my page is going to look like. I'm happy with everything that I've done till now. So I can decide to go here on the left side. Okay, usually this button, you see it like this. So if I'm still on my pencil, here it is on the left, after the figure tool and before the ruler tool, you see the frame border tool. So you just press it. You will see that you have a create frame subtool and a cut frame subtool. So for this moment, let's concentrate on the create frame. And we just drag it down, and it creates a frame for us. What happened here is that he created, if you look on the right, among my layers, you will see that he created another layer here that's basically another paper layer, another layer 1, and you don't see my sketches anymore because everything is in the layer sketch. Okay, so I just have to, it created a group right here. So everything, it ended up on the bottom. So we just have to drag it up and put it in again. Okay, this layer one that was created together, we don't need it anymore, so we can do without. Okay, right now we can decide. We can cut the panels in two ways. We have two subtools. One is divide frame folder, and the other one is divide frame border. Maybe there is just a problem for me since I'm not an English native speaker, so this sounds very similar to me, and the first time that I stumbled upon this, I was like very confused, but actually it's very cool. So we're gonna see the divide frame border first. It's the easiest one. So I'm just gonna go on my paper. I'm gonna drag it. If I hold Shift, you see that it put it into place, very straight. So here is one. Here is another one. Tuck, tuck. Super easy. You see that the space between the panels is different if it's horizontal or vertical. I can change this. So let's go back a minute to here on my cut frame border. So again, you go on the left on the frame tool, subtool cut frame border is the second one. And here you see down on the properties, you can see horizontal space and vertical space. Now here there is a little complication in a way that you have to understand what it means with horizontal space and vertical space. So when it talks about horizontal space, let me take like a red color so you can actually see it. So when we talk about horizontal space, we're talking about this space here. You should be able to see the red that I'm doing. Let me take a, okay, here. This is the horizontal space. It's horizontal because it's going in this direction. The vertical space is this, okay? So horizontal line is called vertical space. That's where it's a little complicated, but super easy to use because at this point we just go there where we were again. We decide, I really like to have these spaces here a little smaller than the horizontal one. So I'm gonna put 3 and 5 like so, and I drag them. If I want them bigger or smaller, of course, I can do it. Super easy. Here and here. All right. So if you look on the right side here on the layers, you will see that on my group, I have like a mask layer here. It's connected to my group layer. What happened here, I can activate it and deactivate it here. If I click it, holding Shift, and it created a mask. What it means is that everything that happens inside the panels, it happens only inside the panels. It's very obvious, but here a demonstration of that. So I take a darker pencil, red. So I'm in the first panel. If I go on the next one, you will see that it goes on the next one, but nothing happened in the middle. All right. So I won't be able to get it wrong. I won't be able to go outside of the panels if I'm not working outside the panels. Right now, I did this just dragging my layer outside the group on the top. So this is very cool because I'm not allowed to get it wrong, and this is the way that I'm working the most lately. The other way that we can do all this, let me go back. Okay, the other one is the divide frame folder. The divide frame folder will do so. Pay attention to what happens on the right. I will do the same exact thing. I will drag the lines for the panels. Pay attention of what happens on the layers, because what happened before, I want to remember you, just the mask here changed the shape. We went and cut the mask. Right now, this is what's gonna happen. So I drag all the lines here, here, and here. Okay, see, it created a bunch of different frames and folders. So right now, he's treating every single panel like a different frame. What it means is that if I go work on the first panel, and I do the same as I did before, so I work in here, and I go on the next panel, nothing happens. Everything that I do on the first panel only happen in the first panel. Everything I do in the second panel only happen in the second panel, and so on with all the others. It's very nice of Clip Studio Paint because it also copies our sketch level in every single frame, as you see. So this is very cozy for us because it's gonna be very easy to work on everything now. You see. Okay. Why use this way of doing things? So why using the divide frame folder instead of the divide frame border? Basically, it's only a matter of organization. I've been using this a lot in the beginning, especially because it was very good for me to know exactly when I'm looking for a line, for a color, for something. I know exactly that it's in that. Oops, sorry. It's exactly in that panel, and I will go work on that panel. It's very organized. It's a very organized way to do things, but the file is going to be super heavy at the end if you don't pay too much attention to that, because you're going to do, all the layers. Like, let's say that usually you would color a red shirt on the first panel, and you would use the same layer for the same shirt for the same red on another panel, and it would be the same layer on the right. Right now, it would be a different folder. So it's going to be more organized, but also, if you're not a very organized person, it's going to be a mess. So I would suggest to use the divide frame border. That's what we're gonna do now. So let's go back again to here. So what happens when I create my frame border? This is what will happen. So I will have my draft layer. We called it sketch before. Okay, from now on we will call it sketch. We will call it draft. I have my borders and I have everything. So right now I can take my draft. I can lock the pixels of my draft. If I go up here in the layers, I have a bunch of very useful buttons, and lock transparent pixel is the one that we want to use right now. So when we do this, I'm locking the pixel on the page, so I'm going to work only on them. And what I want to do is fill them up with a blue color. Probably you can see them at very light right now. So I'm gonna put down the opacity a little bit more. I'm gonna do a new layer on the top, and I'm gonna call it pencils, because here is where I'm gonna do the real drawings. I'm gonna take a black color, my pencil. A rough pencil is the one that I really like. And so here I can start drawing for real. So what happens when I'm done with this? The result, it looks like one of those kitchen programs. But now I'm gonna start here, and like magic, here, boom, it's done. So here we have the pencils done. You see them blue right now. They were like these in the beginning, and I really like to put them blue at some point because it allows me to understand better what I'm doing. Sometimes I do the background of another color. So when I'm inking, it's easier to see the black line of the ink on the blue of the pencil. So it's just easier for me. I actually even do this. So I go again in the layers on my, it's called matita now, it's Italian for pencils, but here it is, pencils. And I can go up up on the levels here, on the layers here. I have this little button that I can press to have all these different colors to put to the as a tag, as a color tag to the layer. So I really like to use the blue tag to tell myself those are the pencils, because when you will have like 100 and more layers, it's very important to just to just see where they are. So blue always reminds me that those are the pencils. So as I said, let's make them blue. When I'm here, I really like to go and put them down, the opacity. Like probably usually I would go a lot lower, like around 10, but so you can see me, let's say around 50, something like that. I do a new layer. Double click on the name. Let's call it ink. I like to give it a green color. And now we can see the G Pen. The G Pen is the tool that I like to use the most. So it's super. It's just the one that better makes the shape that I like. Like I learned how to draw and how to ink from Disney authors, and maybe you know that the Disney style is very round, very soft. So I really like to have traits like this. The G Pen allows me to replicate that style. So this is what I'm gonna do here. I decide the size of my pen under brush size, and I can start inking. The cool thing is the pressure of the pen. So the new technology will allow us to be very precise on what we do with the pressure of our hand. But there is a problem because let me see what happens if I take away the stabilization control. Oh, even too much. Okay, so this would be my normal ability. Like I'm actually, if you give me in my hand a real brush and real paper, it would be a lot better than that. But the technology right now is so sensitive that it's able to feel every single trembling and all the trembling of my hand, even if it's not so much there, but it sees everything. So the stabilization control allows me to fix this problem and have very, very precise outlines, like so. And this is very cool. So knowing that, I really like to use it at 100%. Of course, you can use it at 40, 50, or whatever. 100%, at this point, I'm very used to use it. And depending by the power of your computer, maybe there's going to be a little delay, but I mean, really no problem for me. And I really like to go around and use it this way. It really allows me to have very smooth and soft lines as I like so. So after inking a lot, this is going to be the result. Okay, so everything is done. You can still see my pencils on the bottom and the draft and everything. Okay, you see that we are all always in the frame border, so into the folder that it was created. So there is, even if it's called border, there is still the group, so the folder that we're working in. So if I blind that folder, everything disappears. So yeah, I wanna go very fast. Let's push pause on this page for a moment, and let's check for a moment the rulers, because I want to show you how to get to a perspective like this in a very fun way. As you probably know, if you're a drawer and an artist, and I think you are, perspective is a curse. It's very difficult to understand where to put the vanishing point, how to be very precise, and yeah, it's just very difficult to work with. Clip Studio Paint really fixes that, and I want to show you how. So these are my pencil of the main character. Let's take away the main characters, the peasants there. So let's just use the sketch that I had of the town. So this is a very this is a sketch made with just by hand. So the perspective here, maybe it kind of looks right, but it's not. It's completely it's all over the place. It's very wrong. I will always suggest never to start from the perspective ruler, but like not just on Clip Studio Paint, on anything. Like if you're working on a perspective on your with a real pencil and a piece of paper, first draw the landscape that you want to draw, and then you will take a normal ruler and you will start doing the perspective for good. Same thing. So first have your drawing. Let's maybe have it black so you can see it a little better. Here it is. Okay, and now let's go on the left. Right after the frame border tool, you can find the ruler tool. So here it is. And there are a bunch of different rulers that if we have time, I would like to show you. But for the moment, let's just stay on the perspective ruler. Is the second from the last one. And let's find some lines. Let's go on my page on the top right. Let's do this line. I think, as I told you, the perspective is all over the place. I think it should be a little higher than that, something like this. And then I want to find another one. Let's take this door like here. So as you see, where the lines cross, that's where my vanishing point is going to be. I don't really like to have a vanishing point inside the page like that. So I want to push it a little more out, like there, but I'm going to fix it better. So what happened here is that ruler created us a vanishing point right here. So we have the two lines, as you see, 1 and 2, and the third line, as you see it's blue. That's the horizon line. That's literally the horizon line. That's very important in perspective. So right now we're going to create a second vanishing point. So let's go again on the perspective ruler. Let's take another line and let's try to find another vanishing point on the right side. Let's put it somewhere there, and another one like there. Okay, so now I have a vanishing point on the right and a vanishing point on the left. The horizon line is the same. If I want to fix the lines that I did, I can go on the left. I go on the left on my tools, and the third one is the operation tool. So from here, I can change the lines that I did, especially because when you're working at some point, you just want them out of the way. So you can just move them, make them a little wider so they're not messing with your work. Yeah, with a page, with with your table. Let's say table. I don't know. Okay, here it is. I want to move them a little more because they're very too much close together, and I actually want to put another one. I want to put another vanishing point on the top. It's going to be super high up, so it's going to be one line here and another one like here. So as you see, it created a vanishing point up there. There we go. What happens now is that if let's take away the sketch. Let's make it blue so we can understand better everything. Let's lower the opacity. So what happens now is that if I do a new layer, let's take a darker pencil so you can see exactly what I'm doing. And I drag lines. The lines go exactly in the direction of the vanishing points. I think I deselected one. One moment, I have to make it work again. So I have to select it. Okay, you see it becomes green. When I press the square button on the side, it becomes green. It means that it's not working anymore. I press it again, it becomes purple, and now I can use it again. So there you go. Now the line works. So there is no way to get it wrong. If I want to go on the left vanishing point, I just drag my line there. If I want to go up, I'm going to go up on the top vanishing point, and the same goes for the right one. So as you see, I can create a grill very easily. But let's make it for real. So this was my sketch. Let's take a black thing, black color. Of course, it's going to be different from what I did because I changed a little bit the position of the vanishing points. So I have to fix it. But having this allows me to take away completely the stress of having to fix my perspective all the time. What it means is that I can have what is left is only the fun. So let's take away the sketch at the moment is just on the way. What is left is only the fun. So if I have a window and I don't have to worry about the lines anymore, because Clip Studio Paint is basically doing everything here, I can just have fun and create a window for real. And put in all the details and all the stuff, all the good stuff. So to be sure that I have all the all the frame of a window. So it's not just something, just a square. Sometimes I see windows made like this. No, you can actually invest your time now and do something really beautiful. So this is very cool. You can do skylines in a very fun and quick way. So as you see, boxes. It's very super easy to do. And at the end, what you will have is okay, something like this. This is the perspective completely finished. I would like to make it black. Let's do this very fast, like that and that. Okay, so now you see it black. So this is the perspective done, and as you see, it's completely right all over. So yeah, let's not say anything more here, but it's a very cool tool to use. It's already been 40 minutes. It's scary how fast the time goes. So I want to just show you 3 more things here, how to complete the page. So let's see the halftones and the connected lines and the balloons, just to make you an example. This is what it's going to look like at the end. Of course, we will not see the coloring, but we will see, all the connected lines that you can see here, all the balloons, how to do this very cool kinds of balloons, and yeah, and the halftones that are not here, but we will see them in a moment. So let's take away the pencils. What I really suggest to do when you are at this point, you need to tell the program that those are the characters, and what's not the character is the background. So what I really like to do is do something like this. So you just fill the characters with a color, any color, really. Now they're blue, but it really doesn't matter. Even if we were working in black and white, just use a gray or something. It really doesn't matter. And just lock the pixel with the button that we saw earlier. Just to remind you, is up here on the layers. There is a lock with a checkerboard. It's called lock transparent pixels, and it just create this little icon here. So it means that if I take a white color now and I fill everything up, it's going to become white. Okay. So what it means is that if I create another layer on the bottom of the, let's give some names here. So this is ink. This is the filling. I don't know, like filling of the characters. I really hope it makes sense in English. I think so. I create a new, and I want to give it a green here and our orange here to remember me that that's a special thing. Okay, I create a new layer, and let's call it, I don't know, kinetic lines, kinetics. For the kinetic lines, you go on the tools on the left, and before the frame border tool, you have the figure tool. And you have 3 subtools. Let's use the second one and select scatter streamline. And I want to do something like this. Here, I'm just telling Eclipse Studio Paint where the lines should start from. Of course, it's using white now because I didn't notice that I was on a white color. Let's do it again. So let's select a black color and do the same. Okay, here they are. As you see, they are already right. They are already where I wanted them to be. But if I wanted to change anything about them, this is very cool. We go on the third tool from the top, the operation tool that we saw before. We change their dimension where they're supposed to be. And then I can change the angle. I can change, well, let's put it how it was. Okay. I can change the gap between the lines. I can change the grouping of the line, the length of the lines, and of course, the width of the lines. I really suggest when you do lines like this, now you can't really see it. Let me put them like here. Okay, when they have an angle, of course, it creates a lot of pixel lines. So go back on the tools here. And on the bottom of the properties, you have this tool icon that you can press. It says show and edit hidden parameters, value, and display the status. You just press it, and you look for anti-aliasing, operation streamline, drawing, anti-aliasing, and you put it, I don't know, at the maximum. Boom. Okay. Now your lines are not pixel anymore. Very cool. Then you can fix them the way you prefer them to be. I'd like them to be a little more, okay, like this. Cool, I like them. All right, let's do something similar but a little different on the next frame. And let's use the scatter saturate the line. We just tell it, it's not a him, tell it where we want the lines to start from, like here. There you go, it does something like that. We can, of course, again, go to the operation tool and change the grouping. The size is super big. And again, we can change the anti-aliasing like here. Okay, now the lines are too much, actually. They're going over all my other panels. This thing wouldn't happen if we were working with the divide frame folder, of course. So if we wanna tell Eclipse Studio Paint that we want the lines only in that panel, the easiest thing would be to select the panel that we're interested in, and let's go on the create layer mask button on the top of the layers, and yeah, just press it. It will create a mask and allow us to show only the lines in that panel. I'm left to show you the tones. So for the tones, the best thing is to for the half tones, like manga pages and stuff. You're gonna see it in a moment. You select where to put them, like so. And on the right, there is this line of folders here, and you have a bunch of possibilities. So you just take one, you drag it in. Is it white again? Yeah. Let's do it again. Okay, here it goes. Okay, and again, if I go on my operation here, I go on my operation tool. There is another subtool called layer property. If you don't see this, just go on window and flick layer property. When you have it, you can fix your halftones here. So not really working at the moment for some reason. Okay, because I'm in the wrong one. Okay, here it is. Okay, now it's working. Was in the right layer, as it happens, as you know. So you can change the density, you can change their size, their angle, and everything, and you can do that manga magic that we like seeing and doing. On the same folders that we see here on the right, we can do a bunch of other things. So to fix anatomy, you can use a lot of 3D models and stuff. Something very, very cool. You can find it so let's say that you actually go to the halftone folder and you don't find them. Just go on the bottom. Sometimes if you press show the materials, something will appear, but if not, go on search for additional material. It will open a shop where that connects you to all the Clip Studio Paint users in the world, and you can share brushes and halftones, balloons, all the good stuff that you can bring on your pages. It will take a moment to connect, but sometimes only because you're connected and you go again on show all the materials, it will give you something. The only thing is that when you connect to the shop, it's a lot in Japanese. So because since the software was born in Japan, there are a lot of users from there. So you have to find your way around a little bit there. But let's say that I'm looking for balloons. You will definitely find something. Like lately, I've been downloading this one. So as you say, you see, you just go here and you can download it. When you're done, just close the shop. You go on the downloads folder, and you will find what you downloaded. Right. Let's go back here. Sorry, I messed around with the page. Okay. And to put the balloons, you have two ways. Basically, it's only one, but the second from the last tool, and it's the last thing I will leave you after this, and I won't leave you right after. We will go on the question and answers that I think Joanna is waiting for me to get to the point here. So the last form from the one tool is the balloon tool. Usually you have balloon, okay? I downloaded the other thing that you saw a little bit earlier, a moment ago, and I dragged it in. And so usually you would just use an ellipse balloon. It's so easy that it's not even funny. It's like you put the balloon wherever you need to. You put the tail, and here you have the balloon. It's that easy. Of course, you can decide the colors of the balloon. It's basically the primary color that you're having in your primary and secondary color. So if I want to have a balloon like purple around or something like that, I will just do like this. And the tail, I can decide the width of the tail. So I can have it more or I can have it smaller or bigger. And of course, again, the thinking tail and stuff like that. I really like the ones that I downloaded lately because I can do all those things like this that I really like. Let's give me a black one. Like this one, and I can go again on my operation tool and change the length. I can change the number of the spikes that I have there, the height of the spikes, the size of the brush. So yeah, I don't know, it's very cool. There was a manga that I was reading years ago, and when they were launching magic spells, they had these very cool balloons that I'm very happy that I can replicate here. And just one last thing that I wanted to say. So these were the balloons, and just to say how beautiful the stabilization is, and it's the tool that actually brought me to Keep Studio Paint from in the beginning. This is a drawing. Let's see. I should have it here somewhere. I should have put it here. This is a drawing that I did on a Ukrainian train. And I don't know, I don't know if you ever been on a Ukrainian train, but not only Ukrainian trains, but it was very, very shaky, very much, very much. So, and the stabilization control allowed me to. Oh, I have to wait there. Okay, the stabilization control allowed me to be very precise with my lines, as you see. So yeah, that's the power of the stabilization control. You can use it on Ukrainian trains. That's the story. If Joanna is there, I'll be happy to go to questions and answers.
Okay, thank you very much, Pietro. That was a great and so much content. I'm very happy. We have a lot of questions, so let's get right
Oh
into
wow!
that. Yes, we do
All
have a
right.
lot of questions. Okay.
Sure.
What are your tips for creating a good or interesting first chapter?
Okay.
Starting off
Can
with
you
the
repeat
hard
it?
one.
I lost the first.
Oh, sorry.
Can you repeat it,
So,
please?
yes. What are your tips for creating a good and interesting first chapter of a comic?
Oh, okay. Oh, I love this question. I've been asked the same question last week. So I think that you should, all your ideas, you have like a bunch of ideas and ideas and ideas. You should just take them all, trying to decide what you actually want to use, and write down your story in try to decide. It will sound very logical, but try to decide a beginning, a middle, and an ending. But it sounds easier than it actually is. So when you have that and you actually wrote down a script, this is my suggestion: write it again. You write it again because at this point you know how it ends and you know how it begins. You usually know a lot about the middle. You know what you want to do in your story. You have a lot of ideas. You want the fight and the psychological insights and everything. The beginning and the ending it's very difficult. So write it down completely and then write it a second time. At this point, you can do this very cool thing. So you have to decide what is not needed in your story. How do you decide what is not needed in your story? You ask yourself, is this piece here changing anything? If I take it away, does it change anything in the story? If it doesn't, take it away. What about this piece here? If the enemy, instead of being a monster, was a beautiful woman, how the story would change? So decide, is this changing a lot or nothing at all? Take it away or keep it and change what happens next and before. So at this point, you wrote it 2 times. You know better what is needed and what's not, and you know how it begins and how it ends. You write it a 3rd time, making sure that your ending is actually told in the beginning. I know it sounds crazy, but the best stories usually they have a lot of things that will happen in the final act. They've been told in the beginning, and it's very rewarding for the reader and the viewer to to be there, because they will have a sense of nostalgia, and they have all the memories about what happened. They had all the clues. They will get there. So yeah, there is no way to cheat this way. Just write it at least 3 times. That's my suggestion.
Okay. How long does it usually take you to draw a comic page?
A comic page, like so if we go on this one, this took a whole day. It was actually very easy because I didn't really spend too much time on the backgrounds, so it was just a lot of fun. It took like 8 hours to do. But other pages, like the one that you saw before with the perspective, I think I have a better one. Yeah, this one here. Completely done. Okay, here, this took like 3 days. And I know it's just one panel, basically, just a whole page, but for fixing the perspective and all the colors and all the atmosphere and everything, it took so long. It took a long time. So it could be one day, it could be 3 days. I would say that.
Okay. What are your recommendations for how many frames should a page have?
Great question. Oh wow. Okay. This is very good. Not too many. If I don't want to make too offensive examples, but there is a very popular artist right now that's putting a lot of frames where he shouldn't, and I really don't like it. I think you should go very easy on the panels you put. Like, I like to always start. Probably this is out of the Disney school, but I learned to start from the 6-panel frame. So you just have 6 panels, and from here you can have the double ones, the single ones, the double vertical ones, the triple ones, or the splash page. When you can use the 6-panel frame, you can do basically everything. I don't know exactly how to call it better than a 6-panel frame. In Italy, we use a lot this. In France, they use a lot the 12 one. So they basically have something like this. Is it 12? Yeah, it's 12. So yeah, they use a lot. They use a lot this one. So again, it's the same rules apply. And I would suggest always to start from. Don't do the complicated stuff. Don't try to run before you can walk. Do the simple stuff is always better. If you're in doubt, go check Dragon Ball and Akira Toriyama. He knows. He understood everything, and everything you want to learn about comics, go check Akira Toriyama. He knows everything. So that's my suggestion.
Okay, so we have 2 questions regarding what you showed before. In one of the steps, you showed how you colored the characters in the panel blue. Could you show that again?
Yeah, of course. Let's do a very easy example from a new page. So let's take a pen. So I'm just doing something very, very basic. Like, this is my outline. Okay, as you see, I have a paper layer that is completely white, and a layer 1 layer where there is only the ink. Let's call it ink. Okay, so if I cancel the paper, you see the checkerboard on the bottom. What I want to do is go on the top on the right side. So you will see that I have the lock. I have this blue pencil. That's another very cool tool. And here there is this lock with a checkerboard. It's called lock transparent pixel. You just press it. It will create this icon on the right. Right now, everything I do on this layer, like if I create another layer and I go around, wait a moment. Okay, if I go around, it will work exactly as before. But if I go on my layer with the pixel locked, it will only go on the top of those pixels, so it won't go out. If I fill everything, it will fill only those pixels. So this is a very long explanation of that very simple magic. You can do the same thing if you do a new layer on the top. Okay, so let's call it filling. Okay, I do everything blue, and here again with all the tools, the buttons that you have here, on the left of the block transparent pixel that we had, the first one with two circles, one on the top of the other, is called clip at layer below. You press it, and everything on the filling level will be basically, it creates almost a mask in a way. It's called a clip mask. So we're telling Clip Studio Paint everything that is happening on this layer has to be shown only on the layer below. That's what it means. So I hope it's kind of clear.
Okay, thank you very much. And one last question. How do you make the speech balloon layers above all the panels?
Oh, okay, yes. Let's go on the page. Look, I have this speech balloon on the bottom. I will just, where is it here? No. Okay, it's here. Okay, you see that I selected my layer with the speech bubble. Let's give it a color so you can actually see it. So it's the red one, and as you see, it's inside the folder. So I just have to take it and drag it up. Now it's out. That easy. That's it.
Okay. Well, I think we have like one more question we can probably do.
Yeah.
Is there any actions or any tools that you cannot do without when making comics anymore?
That you can't do without.
You cannot. You
I could
cannot do without.
I could be very cheesy and say your creativity, but let's find something real. Um, for the kind of comics that I do, I really like the G pen here, because as we saw earlier, I really like to do these smooth, soft lines of the, as I was saying, very Disney maybe, but I really like doing this kind of lines. So this is something I wouldn't do without. That said, a very famous artist was saying that if you know how to ink, you will be able to do it also with mud and a broom. So I guess I guess in the end it's just your creativity. I guess, yeah. I ended up with a cheesy answer.
Okay, thank you very much
Thank you.
for this very detailed and wonderful presentation and webinar. I hope
I'm
everyone
very
had
happy.
a great time and enjoyed and learned a lot too. So yes, the webinar will be available later um, on YouTube. And thank you everyone again for attending. And the hour is already over, so I hope it was interesting for everyone. And thank you very much for attending. Have
Thank
a
you. Thank
great
you very
day.
much, guys.
And
Yeah,
thank you very much, Pietro. It was a
of
pleasure having
course.
you.
Anytime.
Thank you very much.